Hello, good day, and good morning to all you beautiful people. QuiCont here today. So, today I'm going to be reading you something that I wrote a week or two ago. If you guys, if you notice a drop off in my contents because I had to get a job. So, I'm going to try and readjust my schedule so I can upload more. But I wanted to talk about today how we are losing our way as a society. Now, since I wrote this a week or two ago, things have happened. A lot has happened. So I'm going to be interjecting here with maybe new, more recent things to support, and just maybe even dismantling things that I wrote because maybe it sucks. But I felt really passionately in the moment about it, and I want to read it to you now. So, how are you doing? Okay, this is how they get you to stop caring. Whether it's through spreading misinformation, censoring, or whatever, they make everyone immediately distrust anything they hear, which can be a good thing, but not when it's overflooded with misinformation intended to skew the real information. Now, who's they? Who's this all-knowing they? I think we all know who they is. I mean, when you control like all of the mainstream media and the news outlets, I think you can gather who I'm talking about here. Second, they get us to fight each other instead of the people in charge so that they can stay in charge. And honestly, when I like take a step back and devil's advocate this myself, there's a degree of understanding there. There's a small degree, right? Like I still don't forget, I still believe in treating people morally and ethically. So I don't believe in necessarily just penning up the cattle and just going whatever, who cares? But at the end of the day, there are a lot of people that have to be managed and at least looked over, right? And be trusted to just live as like a normal citizen, right? And I get how that can be hard for people up in charge, and I can see, through psychology and stuff, why a lot of people up top can suddenly not care about those of us down below anymore, especially when those of us down below start acting crazy, being violent. I think it just doesn't help our case, right? So to some degree, I can understand why they would drop off and not give us the best of the care and everything, And like, here's a fact I'll insert that I learned in the past week when Governor Tim Walz was being questioned about the funding in his state, okay? By like whoever. I don't know if this was Congress questioning him, whatever. It was some congressional hearing or something, I don't know. But they said, in 2017, before you were mayor, how much were we spending on autism? And he didn't know, so she provided the answer of about 3 million or so, I think it was. And then she's like, do you know how much you spent on autism in 2024? And he didn't know. So again, she had to provide the number. And it was like 380 million or something crazy like that. And an insane increase of money. Now, that's not to say that autism is not worth looking into or funding research for or this, that, and the other. But there are nefarious things going on with, I believe, Democrats mostly, who do this thing where they put up a virtue signaling flag and they go, we're going to look into this cause, and then they do fraud and laundering and all this stuff, and it's not actually being spent on those things. And now I'm reflecting back on my friend back when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and she said something about how like Charlie Kirk wanted to take away like funding for like this autism thing or whatever. Well, if it was something like this, don't you think it's a little bit understandable? Because that seems to be an inordinate amount of money. If we're doing that much of an increase in money to autism, I think anyone in the public should have full records of where this money is going, how it's being spent, and even that the thing that's terrible about 2025 and on is the fact that now any information being thrown at us can be backed up with fake videos. And it's so weird to me how much crazy stuff is coming to light now, because now we have the guise of, oh, that's not Ghislaine Maxwell in Canada, that's just AI. Oh, that's not Iran actually shooting America, that's just AI. Which, like, thankfully that one did turn out to be AI, but like now we have this guise, and now nothing matters anymore, and it's freaking goddamn terrifying. Anyway, they get us to fight each other because of this. And I don't think Republicans are necessarily any better than Democrats, but I think most of the time we can at least know that our money is hopefully going to be tracked better through Republican parties and administrations, and hopefully not be virtue signaled and spending a bunch of extra money. Back in high school, when, and I'm sorry if I said this before, but back in high school, when they teach you the difference between Democrats and Republicans, I sat there as a 14 or 15-year-old and I said, well, these parties are really similar. They're very incredibly similar, except for the way that they just spend money. Like when you get down to it, especially because each person in there can be so freaking nuanced, it really came down to, well, Democrats tend to spend more because they tend to fund a lot more of good causes. And while that is on the surface, obviously a good thing to anyone with even half a heart would go, oh yeah, I like that. I don't mind my money going to that. But the problem is when they don't put money towards that and they say they are. And that's what fraud is. And that's why I'm so freaking PO'd about the Democrats lately, because it's like they're the unintentional, but the actual gatekeepers for rich people, right? Like they've become the ground level warriors because they have become the PC police, or they've been the PC police for decades and decades now. And when you have ground level people fighting your battles for you and fighting people who are rational minded and stuff, the rich can just keep doing whatever they're doing and let us all kill each other, right? And that's what I don't like, because you look at the whole, I saw something this morning even about how this YouTuber, what's his name, was it Tyler Oliveira, something Oliveira, was banned on YouTube because he went out and did like a Nick Shirley style video. And I don't know if, you know, he did these types of videos first or whatever. Sorry to like discredit him if he was doing this before Nick Shirley. I don't fucking care though. But it's crazy to me that he was banned for exposing a Jewish community in New Jersey. I think the government is very much in bed with Israel. I think there's very concerning things there that the Epstein files are digging up. And like, just by the way, side note on the Epstein files, I don't know if I would say, let me know if you want me to do a deep dive on the Epstein files, but like, I have consumed true crime for years. If you're familiar with my channel, you know this a little bit. And the level of terror and disgust I feel while learning about the Epstein files far exceeds anything I've learned about. I didn't think it could get as bad as the things that I'm learning about with the Epstein files. I don't know if I could actually make a video on the Epstein files, plus it's oversaturated as hell anyway. But that all has been showing me that we are in bed with Israel. I mean, to some degree. And to some degree, maybe it's a good thing, right? Like, nobody likes anti-Semitism, right? Nobody likes what happened in World War II, but we have to live in the present time. And the reality of fully supporting another country to the point where it's costing us billions and billions of dollars, and we're ignoring the good of our own people, and we're not allowed to even point out when fraud is happening in that community, it's stupid. It then becomes stupid because, and this is this is it. This is the thing right here. Democrats are the very people who are supposed to be standing up for all minorities, right? All of them. Black people, Asian people, handicapped people, like crippled, everyone. But then Tyler Oliveira goes and exposes this Jewish community. They're calling him a Nazi. They're calling him anti-Semitic, totally ignoring that this Jewish community is a huge hindrance on the local African American community in New Jersey, to the point where they're buying out public schools that have gone under because of their own like bills they're voting on to defund those schools. It's insane. It's a mess. And I'm someone who doesn't like to just say these things and just, you know, they're true. These are things that I'm hearing, okay? These are things that I've heard are going on. And I, honestly, at the end of the day, only a measly nobody like me can only know so much what's going on in her own world, right? Like, I hope everything we're being told about Iran is true, because I do support us taking the initiative and taking them out if they're gathering things for nuclear weapons and such, because look at how they're responding. If those aren't AI videos, if it's true that they're just attacking everyone in the vicinity, including public civilian spaces, they are a threat. If they're standing over there and they're just okay with killing anyone and anyone, innocent people, women and children and innocent men and stuff, what are we doing? Like, what? Of course we should go after them. So I've lost my place. I've sidetracked a lot from my script, but those are the recent things going on that are just blowing my freaking mind, because Democrats are supposed to be the ones that are standing up for these people, and then because of your own freaking hypocrisy, you are actually hindering it more. And again, I will always say this: y'all are out there who are being violent and breaking public stuff and shit. Do you think that that just gets paid by the government and we don't get charged for it at all? Do you really think that it just all goes away? No, they make us pay for it. Acting and screaming and having a tantrum only makes shit worse for who? The kid. The parent just goes, all right, you're in timeout, and there's gonna be consequences. At least a good parent, right? So it's stupid to behave this way. And it's stupid because you're feeding the very system that wants us all to look away from them and fight with each other. So I just beg anyone who's Democrat, anyone who's Republican, do not automatically lean on whatever side that you are aligned with, okay? That is the worst thing that you can do, is to just react emotionally and stand up for the side that you believe in, just because this isn't a football game. This is our freaking economy. This is our society. This is our way of life. This is what we're going to be leaving to the next kids. Millennials, I'm a millennial. We've had such a bad rep for so long that I feel like it's just becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Like, the boomers didn't do us right, and they fucked us over for sure with the Reagan administration, like, cutting taxpayer stuff for billionaires, right? That was not good. I know that. I'm never gonna like stand here and be like, oh, a Republican did everything right and a Democrat did everything wrong. You're stupid if you fucking think like that. I don't care what side you're on. Each side has things to be criticized on, and that is why we cannot fix anything, is because everyone's too busy fighting for their own team like it's a goddamn football game. I'm so tired of it. If you are someone who is mad at Trump becoming president solely because you immediately associated his presence with racist, homophobic, fascist notions with no basis, you are the one being conditioned to react as soon as you hear something is perceived as the same side as you. The simple facts are that a dumb figurehead of a president hasn't been stirring up any more minority discrimination than usual, and everyone's mad as well, might I add, that he just initiated a war, even though he's lawfully in the right to, from what I'm hearing Marco Rubio say. They're fully acting within their legal rights of administering attacks to people, and Obama and such, I'm hearing, didn't face this kind of criticism when they attacked. Like, it's literally just Trump y'all are mad at. Like, y'all ain't looking any deeper into this, and it couldn't be any more fucking obvious. So like, the minority discriminations, I'm going back to that. Those things happening come from whacked out individuals. And when it happens to you during the time frame that someone like him is in power, for some reason you think it's because someone like him is president. It's really embarrassing, and it's stupid. There's always going to be idiots who discriminate. It does not matter who is the sitting president at the time. That doesn't affect anything. And if anyone is out there discriminating in the name of Trump, obviously no one stands for that person. No rational, logic-minded person is going to say, oh, you're in the right because I'm right-sided too, I'm Republican too, let this guy discriminate. That's stupid thinking. Let's get out of elementary school thoughts already. It's funny how someone who is completely unaware of your presence is suddenly responsible for a wacko who is acting either on behalf or not of a sitting president. Individual hate speech is what we should be against, but for some reason when people get triggered, they don't do the things that actually cancel a person, like ignoring them or whatever. They instead blow them up online. And when they then identify that someone has a differentiating opinion, they automatically assume this means the worst purported traits of the opposing side are thrown at the person, often with ad hom attacks and remarks of violence, which is respectively tacky and just makes you sound crazy. And like, I'm not saying that people who are racist, homophobic, whatever, shouldn't be called out online. Like, it should be. But also, I think it's more important that they go ignored, because the beast stops getting fed when you stop feeding them. For example, someone on the left hears that someone is anti-illegal immigration. They immediately ignore rational things the other person has said, like, hey, I'm all for legal immigration, I'm all for work visas and such, and coming here legally, and integrating culture, all that stuff, and they immediately associate them with all the things that they consider evil. You know, all of a sudden, just because you said the words anti-illegal immigration, doesn't matter what you've said before, now all of a sudden you're a Nazi, you're a homophobic, you're a racist. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, do you hear yourselves? And if you're more right-leaning and see someone who is more alternative looking, and you jump to assume they are for all the traditional leftist things, that you are also being just as falsely assumptive as they are. Like, I myself look very alternative when I'm not in my lazy comfy clothes, that is. And as funny as the nose ring theory is as a joke, morons shouldn't take it as far as to judge someone off of it. I think that's obvious though, right? Like, do I need to be saying this? Like, it sounds so silly when I say it out loud, because of course that would be like saying all people named Karens are awful Karens, but apparently it needs to be said for the smooth brains out there. Excuse me, I'm getting over being sick. Another obvious and recent example is, if you stand for ICE, you stand for racist, homophobic, blah blah blah, and you're on the wrong side of history. When you're so quick to write off any differences in how someone else feels, who's the oppressive one here? Who's actually the oppressive one? I personally like to be open-minded and accept that the people around me may feel differently from me based on their own personal circumstances. I can usually find the heart of how they feel, like for my friends. So even if my own friends in real life disagree with me on something, it's usually because it's backed by something going on in their personal lives. And I can understand that, because they don't immediately condemn me either. But for some reason, everyone, it's stupid. Like, it's stupid that we're all sitting here going, oh, dead internet theory, and then we take it so seriously what's being said online, because even if it is a real person acting stupid online, they're a 2%er. They're getting blown up for being stupid. You don't get news about, you know, your favorite singers or whatever being rational minded about things, because it's normal. It's boring. It's not newsworthy. It's not algorithm pushing. So if we're looking to blame any one person for all of this, we can't do it. The boomers and the Gen Xers chose to leave no child behind, which inadvertently ends up passing up children's developmental needs and not encouraging them to grow, as well as giving out giving out participation trophies. I'm an idiot. Why did I shorten that? I should just write out. As well as giving out participation trophies for everyone, which I feel like made people complacent and entitled. I really think it did. I said that even back then when it happened. I was like, this is the stupidest thing we could be doing. The younger generations are guilty of not expanding their worldview and self-reflecting by taking in broad perspectives that, in my opinion, would adjust their views to more rational ones. It's called growing up. Like, just because we're given so much opportunity and freedom in America doesn't mean others who weren't born with the same would treat this as gratefully or not abuse it. Did I say gratefully? I actually don't mean that. I don't think these whiners are actually grateful for how we live. They just automatically think it's some kind of like human right privilege, while ignoring that these freedoms we had were built by laws and governances. Not that I always agree with big government. I'm not a fan of big government at all, or keeping the super wealthy elite in power. But we have to be realistic about where we came from and why we have the freedoms that we have. There's some merit to it, just like everything. There's moderation in everything. I think it's optimistic to want such great freedoms for each and every single person in the world, but one nation can't realistically be responsible for handling all of it. If we want to be better to help the world, we have a lot of internal work to fix, as well as opposing nuclear threats apparently, and we're not going to get there if we're divided and angry at each other. So I've been thinking for years about a solution to all the crap going on, and I think my solution is simple. Originally, I had a very catty solution because I'm personally so annoyed by the whole Nazi thing whenever anyone has a blink of being right-leaning. I thought it would be fun to throw around the word PDF file slur to anyone on the other side, but the truth is that disgusting group of people hides under either side. And another truth is that I think a lot of people on the left who are bitter and angry are just upset with their own personal financial situation, lack of power, lack of importance. Like, when we are poor, we are Democrat because we want wealth to spread to us. That is just how it is. And then you grow up and you if you're smart, you get responsible, you learn to pay and cover your own bills, you even learn to save a little bit of money, and then you realize that anyone can do it. And all of a sudden you grow up. I think the left initially attracts those who are big-hearted, young, and have this ultimately altruistic idea of revolution. They want freedom and equality for all, the best of them. But it personally annoys me when that side of things intentionally skew things to grandstand and make themselves look good for calling out bad behavior when it doesn't exist or is greatly misconstrued. Charlie Kirk is a great example of this. It personally hurts me to know that people I love and respect said things like, "We got that fucker when he died." The internet does not allow us to fully know another person's life or position, no matter how they present themselves online. And to invite so much hatred in your heart for someone you don't know, who isn't, like Hitler or something, it makes me so sad. There was another example of this recently as well, with the whole Iran thing. And I watched an Asmund video where this leftist newscaster was misconstruing everything. Oh, Trump did this crazy thing at 2:30 a.m. He was wearing a weird hat, and just out of nowhere at 2:30 in the morning he drops this thing. Yeah, because it's happening in real time over there. How how much more blatantly can you expose yourself as being so in your own world and own perspective that you're like, it's 2:30 in the morning for me, so this is irrelevant. It's happening in real time over there on the other side of the world, you moron, where it's daytime. He was doing it so that he could address what was happening to the innocent people in Iran. Duh. Please expose yourself more, self-report yourself more for living so much in your own perspective that it's so weird for them to come out with a press conference at 2:30 in the morning. You absolute fucking idiot. She said so many other dumb things too. I can't even remember what they were right now, but I was just rolling my eyes the whole time. I honestly wanted to react to that video, and I could still if you want, because it was the usually I watch a video that Asmund watches and I'm like, I don't have an opinion right away. I need time to think these things over. I need time to assess both sides of things. But this one was so blatantly just jabbing to jab and misconstruing everything. It honestly made me so upset. Anyway, I digress. We should be anti-elite, in my opinion. We should be anti-big government, but I'm also not really a fan of the oligarchy thing either, because what if a bad family like this supposed Rothschilds or whatever get in power, or a family like the Epsteins were to get in power, and then all of a sudden this tiny group of people who are evil and bad control everything. So I don't know what the real answer for that is. We need to be anti-PDF more than anything. And people will say to this, oh, you can care about more than one thing, but you only have so much time and attention each day to actually make progress or change on the things that matter. So that, while it's true, you can sit there and care in your head all day, it gets nothing done. Let's forget the world for a second here. Let's just bring it down to just you. If you're a content creator and you're trying to make it, you now have to compete against viewbots. And whether you partake in that or not, you only have so much room a day to feed yourself, to do chores that keep you in a clean and safe environment, to make actual money to pay your bills. And then what are you left with? Just barely enough time to maybe get into a good game. If you're building your own business, like a grassroots, brick and mortar business, you only have so much time in the day to get these things done. So yeah, sure, you can care about more things at once, but you can only do so many things a day. That annoys me so much when people say it. It gets nothing done ultimately. You are just, and then those people think they're actually doing something by going out and just emotionally reacting and screaming at the other side of things and automatically attributing all the things they hate to that side and think that, oh, I did so good, when you're just virtue signaling. Let's be real. Anyone just talking like that online, look at me, I care about all these things and I can say the right thing. I can say fuck ICE and I can say this or that and I can do it. Why can't you? You're not changing anything. You're not doing a fucking thing. You think you're doing something when actually you are gatekeeping for the rich themselves. They are untouchable because a lot of them lean in the left side of things, where you have to put on face and virtue signal and you care so much about optics. You are their fucking warriors. And you don't need to be doing that anymore. Everyone should be treated equally. All lives fucking matter, you idiot. You have been so brainwashed and conditioned to fight for something that is just putting someone else in power. It's so sad. So I'm saying, let's bypass all of that. Agree to disagree. Try to keep the most altruistic and moral views possible and be open to hearing each other's opinions. When we drop the optics and the surface level like fake stuff, and we actually say what's on our minds, and this is why it's so valuable to have in real life friends that isn't just an echo chamber, and even like communities online that isn't just an echo chamber. You should be allowed to say what you want, say what you think, and have people like give constructive criticism on it, right? So we can all morally check each other. But when you're so busy just grandstanding for one side and you just go, oh, this person's anti-ICE, well, fuck them, they're a bad person and they're on the wrong side of society. Do you feel good about yourself now? Because that's all you're accomplishing at the end of the day. You're just supporting everyone to be PC, everyone to say the right things. You're not encouraging anyone to do the right things or to take the right actions that we need in our society. We need an honest society where we can openly communicate about things. So the problem is, no matter what you believe, no matter how good-hearted and open-minded you are actually, we don't have a name for this group of people. We don't have a name. We only know right or left, liberal, conservative, alt-right, MAGA, extreme liberal, Antifa. Where's the name for the group of people who are anti-pedo, who believe in differing opinions and finding the most altruistic and most moral view possible that serves the most amount of people for the greater good? We don't have a name, and there's a reason we don't have a name, because they don't want us to unite and take them out of power. I'm finally done. Yeah, I'm glad I read this. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it when I reread it or not, but you know what? I like it. I stand by it. I don't have all the right answers to build up a new society, but it greatly interests me. I think it's going to take, I will always say this, it's going to take a collection of minds. It's never going to be one person in power. It's never going to be one small group of people who can come up with the right ideas. We need multiple perspectives. We need multiple types of backgrounds. We need multiple types of experiences, different lives who aren't afraid to speak up. So if you're one of those people, what should our group name be? Drop it in the comments so that I know that you made it this far. And tell me what you think about all this. And again, I'm sorry for not uploading as much. I am working, and on top of that, trying to sell and make money off of my art, which is another part-time job, believe it or not, that a lot of people don't want to give to artists. I am a a half-time parent because my stepkids are here half the time. And when they're here at the moment, our schedule is so bad in the house that I am the sole parent for 90% of the week. And it sucks because I'm just a stepmom and I don't get all the badges that come with that, you know? I don't get all this respect or moral authority on what they do. It's hard. But I am passionate about speaking out, as you guys know. I didn't expect to grow. I know I'm not like crazy huge, but like I didn't expect to grow past 5 subscribers. So I'm glad to just have around 80 of you. So I thank you for being here. I really hope you take care of yourself, especially if you're digging into these things, because they are tough. It's tough to see the world for what it is, especially the Epstein stuff. So please take care of yourself. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.